I really, really want their head office to be in a wizard's tower. Like, if it's in a basement somewhere, I'm going to be so disappointed. Hello and welcome to Spotlight Indie. I'm Frasier Armitage, your host, part-time robot, full-time nerd, author of New Yesterday, Time's Ellipse, and A Stitch Between Worlds. And I'm back, guys. Thank you so much, Holly, for being me for the past few weeks while Emily was our guest. How have you been doing?
I'm very good, thank you. It was a lot of pressure to be you, Frasier, I won't lie. It was particularly difficult having to pretend to be you walking around town. The disguise did not work, so I'm very glad to see you back. Welcome back, and I hope you're feeling a lot better. You look a lot better.
Thank you, thank you. I think the main thing is how you look, right? Not how you feel. So it's fine. No, I am feeling a lot better. Thank you, and thank you for. I think I had the most successful weeks ever while you were me. So maybe you should be me more often. I think that would be a great idea.
I
But
mean,
for anybody who doesn't know Holly, which of course you know Holly, it's the wonderful H.L. Tinsley, my co-host, who is fueled by lattes, and I know this for a fact. Joining me and Holly this week is the fantastic writer of The Fantastical. You'll know him from his Empire of Ruin series. It is the master of fantasy, David Green. David, how's it going?
I'm doing great. I don't know if I can live up to that intro, to be honest. But thanks very much. Great. Thanks for having me. And I've been looking forward to it. So yeah, thanks for having me.
That's awesome. If anybody isn't familiar with your writing, David, give them a little flavor of the kind of stuff that you write.
Oh dear. I have. There's a common thread between so I do epic fantasy, I have urban fantasy, and I do cozy fantasy as well. But there's a common thread where I didn't realize this until someone pointed out to me. They were like, "You like to write about toxic masculinity quite a lot, don't you?" And I was like, "Oh, I think maybe I do actually." I didn't really even realize it, but that is a common thread between all of it. And I do kind of like to look at I deal like a lot of my stuff as like kind of a lot about parenthood, a lot about the roles of like maybe male toxicity and seeing how we kind of look at that in a fantasy setting. And I have a lot of fathers that are present in children's lives, which is kind of unusual for a fantasy. I think sometimes like they're off or they're dead or whatever, or they don't want to be parents. So there's that, but also like I'm autistic, so I write a lot about autistic characters. I write a lot about queer characters as well, and not like kind of I don't really kind of explore like the kind of spicier side of sexuality, but I like to explore like the kind of like more connections that people can make in like a kind of very solid kind of way and everything like that. So I like a lot of like ace kind of representation and stuff. So yeah, but usually they're quite action packed, they're quite fast paced. Apart from the cozy stuff, which is very very obviously character driven and what have you. So. But yeah, apparently all about the toxic masculinity, which was news to me until someone said it to me, and I was like, that actually makes a lot of sense actually now I think about it.
I love it. You're approaching it from every angle. Because I was looking at your bio earlier today on your website. You said that you're a writer of the epic, the urban, the fantastical, the cozy, and the mysterious. And I was like, that's pretty much everything, right? That's like, what else is there? It's like, so toxic masculinity from every corner. It's like, doing it. You're doing it, man. It's awesome.
Yeah, well, might as well, might be like it's a weird one. It's like I think if I'd come to it. I mean, I'd always wanted to get into writing, but I didn't start until I was kind of in my mid-30s, and I was like a father, and I was a new father. Well, I think if I'd started it like earlier, like 10 years before or something, I would have come at it from a very, very different approach in all kind of angles. So you just kind of take on your kind of shift in perspective, I suppose. But I kind of cheat as well because my urban fantasy covers most of that stuff that you've just said. The mysterious, the fantastical, and the rest of it is more there. So you can kind of cheat with urban fantasy and just it's like a big melting pot.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Holly, you have some amazing, and good news for us to share, right? We're going to come back to David and we're going to have David share some good news. And we've all got good news that we're bringing this week. So we've got some good news for everybody. For everybody who tunes in, you'll know that our regular first segment is we're always going to chat about the good stuff. So we're going to get back to David's writing in a little bit. But for now, Holly, what have you got?
Oh, okay, Frasier. I am ready. I am pumped up to share some positivity. So, first up on good news today, we have some Spotlight Indie good news, and that is we will be heading out on the 14th of February. That's right, we're going out for Valentine's Day to a local event called the Queen of Hearts Ball in Shrewsbury. For anyone who is local, it is a Alice in Wonderland themed party. It has loads happening. There is singing, there is dancing, there is food, and there is also the Enchanted Market, which is where we will be. We will have some of these lovely promo cards to give to people to tell you all about what we've been up to, and we will be giving away some free books as well. So if you are local, pop down and see us. Get a ticket first, because it is ticketed. I should just say that. Don't just crash, because that won't work and we'll get in trouble. But buy a ticket. It is through Spellbound Productions. We are really excited to be working with them. They are good friends of Spotlight Indie, and they are a wonderful, wonderful production company. So check that out.
That's amazing. And I also want to ask about like the Alice in Wonderland theme stuff, because I feel like there's a character in Alice in Wonderland that speaks to everybody's heart, right? Who's your Alice in Wonderland spirit animal?
Oh, see, now I had real difficulties because the cast of the production company are so amazing and they do fantastic costumes and cosplay. So I was like, I'm never going to be as good as they are. So I did consider going as one of the main characters, but instead I will be going as the Concept of Madness.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. Will you be wearing lots of hats?
I don't know about lots of hats, but I have bought some temporary tattoo pens. So I will be writing quotes from Alice in Wonderland all over myself. So we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping they come off in the wash.
Yeah. I'm hoping they don't. That's amazing.
Yeah.
What about you, David? Have you got an Alice in Wonderland character that is like speaks to your heart?
Probably Tweedledum and Tweedledee. You know, they're just both different sides of myself, I guess. Probably not best not to think about it too much, but that was the first one that came to mind, so why not roll with it?
I think that's great. I think we've got Holly as like Madness, we've got David as Tweedledum and Tweedledee, and I think I'm like halfway between the Mad Hatter and the Cheshire Cat. I feel like if the Mad Hatter's hat was on the Cheshire Cat, I feel like that's pretty much my vibe. I feel like that'd be pretty good. Anyway, thank you for sharing that, and I have no idea why I started this conversation, but it was nice. Holly, what else have you got for us?
Okay, so we've had some messages in from the indie community. So a couple of shout outs this week. We had a message from Andy Best. Andy is about to publish indie published. He's going to publish an indie published novel called Tillis. I hope I pronounced that correctly. In his message, he did say he has had loads of help and support from the indie community, which is absolutely amazing. Not surprising at all, because she's such a lovely bunch of people. That is going to be published this week, the week of recording, so go and check that out. We also had a message from Ben Moxon, who is currently editing his audiobook, which is really cool. Loving the experience of editing it. It is called The Redstone Rescue, and it is described as a light-hearted utopian detective story. So don't know when that's going to be done. However, if it sounds like your kind of thing, keep an eye on it. And last but certainly not least, CT Phipps has messaged to say that they've got a book sale going on all this month. It is the first 6 books in the Super Villainy saga. It is 99 cents on BookBub, so if you are after a book bargain, that is one to check out. They are all good news. We are happy to share them, and thank you, indie community, once again for sending those to us. Frasier, back to you.
I feel like a light-hearted detective utopia story is kind of like, it's got to be like Death in Paradise but sci-fi, right? That's the vibes I'm getting. Like, I can almost hear like the synth version of the theme tune in my head. That's like, yeah, I don't know why. Are you guys a fan of detective stories?
Yeah. I mean, my urban fantasy ones are detective driven, so like I like good mystery. I love Agatha Christie. You know, Sherlock Holmes. You know, I have like really fond memories of watching. I grew up in England as well, so like you know, on Channel 4 or BBC Two on Sundays, there was always like some movie on from the 50s or 60s that was like all detective stuff. And like probably my favorite film of all time is Casablanca as well, which obviously has a little bit of that intrigue in it as well. So yeah, I do love a good detective story.
That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like what I crave, I crave like Columbo in space. That would be amazing, wouldn't it? Like, just one more thing before I go to another star system. It would be like the greatest. Like, it would be amazing. And
Yeah, I
he
can
could
see
have
it.
the fake eye, and like it would be like genuinely like biotech. It would be. It kind of writes itself. David, what good news are you bringing us this week?
Well, yeah, I just saw something earlier actually. So there's a really great independent publisher in the UK. You might have heard of them called Wizards Tower Press, run by Cheryl Morgan. They have Juliet E. McKenna's Green Man series, and they just announced that the very first book in the series, the book one of the Green Man series, has just sold 20,000 copies in all formats, not including. Isn't that great? Not including audiobook because they don't, because that's somewhere else. So for a small independent press line, 20,000 copies of one book is pretty incredible. So congratulations, Mr. Star Press.
Yeah,
Good news, and it is proof that it can be done.
yeah.
Yes.
And it goes to show that there's this I think there's this like misnomer about indie publishing that like people aren't really interested in it, but like the fans are there and they want it and they crave in these stories. And so I just love that they're able to find these presses like this, and they're able to invest in these stories that these indie authors are putting out through these indie presses. I think it's just awesome, isn't it? I just love it.
Yeah, it's good, and it shows you that Wizards Tower, they get around to all the conventions, like they have a presence everywhere. They're part of all like different societies. So if you put the hard work into it, like you can be you get your rewards for it. So yeah, delighted for them. And the series is really good. Talk about detective stories. Actually, it's a detective set in the countryside. It's like a rural fantasy. I think is probably the best way to describe it.
That's awesome. I really, really want their head office to be in a wizard's tower. Like, if it's in a basement somewhere, I'm going to be so disappointed.
Yeah.
In terms of my good news, what I'll bring to the table, this edition, I've been collaborating on a book with another indie writer, and we had apportioned each other our chapters. I finished my chapters, guys. So I'm ready to celebrate. And I don't know what to do to celebrate. I don't know whether it should be sort of like, well, now it's got to be a detective show, isn't it? That's what it's got to be. Yeah. Straight after this.
There's a question for you, David. How do you celebrate your wins as an author? So if you finish a book or you finish a launch, like what do you do to mark that occasion?
I'm really bad at this. I need to be better at it. It's something that I need to be better at because I genuinely think that people should celebrate. Like, there's a large amount of people that set out to write books, but there's a very, very small percentage of people that actually finish them, and then take that further into kind of publication and what have you. So I think it's something that like writers absolutely should celebrate in some kind of way. But I am awful at it, and even every single time that I do it, I'm like, what am I going to do to celebrate this? And I just don't do anything all that much. But I am getting better at it. So what I've started to do is I've started to take 2 weeks off from writing once I finish something, which I didn't do in the past. I used to just go straight into the next thing. But I'm like, take 2 weeks off, catch up on some TV shows, some movies, play some video games, And I'll have a few whiskies on the night when I finish something now, which is I have a really good bottle of whiskey that I have for special occasions now. This is my age now, like I'll save it for a special occasion. So I do that. So I am getting better at it, but I know some people that they'll get like a framed picture of the book cover, which I think is brilliant to do. I know some people that like get cakes with the cover of the book on it. All this kind of stuff, which I think is like really, really great, and I wish that I did all of it, so I don't.
Yeah, I feel like as indies as well, it's even more important that we celebrate, because I guess when you trad published and you hand in something, you've got somebody there to say congratulations. Whereas as an indie, you don't necessarily have the same kind of support network around you saying, "Oh, well done, that's really good." You're kind of doing it solo a lot of the time. So yeah, having that space and giving yourself that space is a great idea, David. We'll have to talk whiskies later, because we can't endorse any unless anybody wants to sponsor us. If you're a whiskey company and you want to sponsor Spotlight Indie, be our guest. That would be awesome.
Or cake. We also accept cake.
Whiskey and cake.
Yeah. To be honest, if anyone wants to sponsor the channel, just go for it. We're up for it. It's all good. We're not reading.
Just whiskey infused cakes would be perfect. Yeah.
The ultimate writing snack. Yeah, I love it. So thank you for joining us, David, for our good news segment, and for everybody who's watching this and who's tuning in. Comment down below who your Alice in Wonderland character is. It'd be great to get to know you through the lens of Lewis Carroll. And I promise that if somebody says the Jabberwock, I will quote like the whole thing next time. I'll go into the whole "'twas brillig" and everything. And tune in next time, guys, when David is going to be joining us, and we're going to be learning a bit more about him in our regular feature, Roll for Insight. So before we go today, David, let everybody know where they can find you, how they can get in touch.
Yeah, so the best place to find me is my website, which is davidgreenwriter.com. It's got all my kind of socials on there, my newsletter. But I'm in terms of social media, I'm usually on BlueSky these days, which is at David Green Writer, I believe. I should have really looked at this before I came on, but I think it is, and I think I'm David Green Writer on most things as well. So say hello. I'll be happy to chat with everyone or anyone.
Amazing. Where can people find you, Holly?
People can find me, like David, I am mostly on BlueSky at the moment. I am also on Facebook and on X, although not spending as much time on there at the moment. You can follow Spotlight Indie on Facebook, BlueSky, X, and now Instagram as well. We have an Instagram channel, and obviously you can like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. The more you can do that, the more we can grow and get more authors on, so that would be amazing. And also we will link all of David's socials and his website in the comments below as well.
Amazing. And you can find me here, guys. I'm always here unless I'm ill, and then you'll find Holly here in my place. So you can find me here, or you can find me anywhere at Frasier Armitage. And I think that if you don't get me, you get a different Frasier Armitage, they're more likely to be like way cooler than I am. So it's a win either way. But yeah, join us next time, guys. And as ever, thank you for tuning in.
Obviously in a caffeine haze when I was working.